a logo, but I want to go back to Hepworth for a moment because there's something really, I think, an interesting idea that I think is worth exploring. And I'm not going to put it in screen share in case that happens again. The article talks about how, we talked about the gender, right? So one, carving male, modeling female. And so there's a quote in here where it talks about how, well, it's a whole quote about. Okay, if you have it open, can you turn to page 8? Okay, this is Stokes talking. Now remember, Stokes was the art critic talking about Hepworth's work. Do you see page 8? Oh, actually, it's page 58. Yeah, it's 8 if you're looking at this PDF. Yeah, 58. It says it's the first indented quote. Yeah, can you read that, patience? Oh yeah, start with man is his male aspect above. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Man in his male aspect is the cultivator or carver of woman who in her female aspect molds her products as does the earth. We see both the ultimate distinction and the necessary interaction between carving and molding in their widest senses. The stone block is female. The plastic figures that emerge from it are her children. Proof of the carver's love for the stone.
Okay, so this is sort of the key passage this article is written around. What is this saying to you? Why is this important, do you think?
So saying in her female aspect, she molds rather than like carves.
Okay, so there's that kind of gender thing again. Okay, good. And there's also something else kind of gendered here.
Yeah, I also,
Sorry.
I don't feel like if the stone is female, I don't think they'd exactly, I think they'd find it homosexual if a woman would come up and start curving.
Yeah, and I'm not necessarily saying homosexual, but it would have been like, what? Women don't do that, right?
Because you need a man and a female to create children, and if what emerge are her children.
Right, exactly. Do we get that then? So the carver is male. He carves the stone into a woman, right? And then in the case of it's a mother and child, and because the child is sort of the offspring, so to speak. So he's saying that the man in his male aspect, notice, male aspect, I mean, it could be more gendered, is the cultivator or carver of woman. So the stone becomes a woman. So you're right, if you have a woman carving a woman, well, that's just weird, right? I mean, you know what I'm saying. I mean, I'm not necessarily saying it was seen in homosexual terms, but, that's just not what we do in this gendered binary world that was around at the time. So yeah, kind of looking at the gender aspect. And, say the stone block is female, right? So right there you can show that it would have been unusual for a woman to be carving because she's carving herself.
That actually reminds me of the whole Adam and Eve thing where Adam supposedly gives his rib to create woman. So you have that line again.
And that's a very, especially in the West, and it's a very patriarchal idea that goes back, I mean, it really probably farther back, but definitely to the Renaissance, right? Because the artist was seen as a designer, as a creator, like almost on par with God. He was male, right? So yeah. So I thought interesting passage that we couldn't kind of overlook. So let's go back to Alohu. Yeah, so she's, like I said, sort of teetering between life and death, right? So let's, on that same page, it talks, I think, about the benign view of death. And I think it's worth kind of reading here just to refresh our memory. So somebody else wants to read, let's see. Maybe it's not on that page. Oh yeah, that's right. I remember it not being. It's on page here, page 27, or number 4 in the PDF. Isn't it? Oh wait, no. Maybe it's one more. Oh, one more. Sorry, 29. No, it is 20. 22. Yeah, no, 27, 27. No, 29, 29. Okay, so 29 or 5, page 5 on the PDF. Can somebody read what it talks about, when it talks about, let's see.
0 hours and intimate
Yeah.
interpretation.
A volunteer?
No.
Thank you.
0 hour is an intimate interpretation of a mother's life during labor as she hovers between life and death. This life-size image cast in warm sepia cement confronts us with its powerful expression of pain and expectancy. It also incorporates many Yoruba ritual details connected with pregnancy and spirituality. Olowu herself, pregnant while creating this sculpture, insisted on working until the last hour of her own pregnancy as she was concerned. I didn't want to leave my work in an unfinished stage so that it could spoil.
So we were talking about that, right? That idea of, whether it's easy to leave and come back to or not. Anyway, carry on. Will you read the next paragraph?
She also said, in Nigeria, a woman is considered a maiden until her first child is born, and women without children are pitied. Even pregnant women must have a shrine for ritual offerings, so that God should provide good children. And there are different hair plaiting rituals for each stage of pregnancy. A woman's hair is undone just before the baby is delivered. Since pregnancy complications such as excessive bleeding or stillbirth are attributed to the unknown, women seek help from diviners and herbalists and wear amulets and charms around their arms and waists for protection. A little calabash suspended from the neck can also contain medicinal herbs. Animal sacrifices of chickens or goats are sometimes recommended for a safe delivery, as well as a bathing ceremony prior to delivery with magical leaves boiled by the mother.
Okay, and you can read the next one too.
Olowu also explained, when a woman is in labor, she must sit on something hard and strong against which she can push. Therefore, in 0 hour, the arm of the expectant mother's chair contains the design of a mortar, an elongated stone used for grinding grain or cassava. During the birth process, a mortar is gently placed against the woman's thighs and spine as a symbolic gesture of strength and to help alleviate her pain.
Okay, so this helps us understand that piece. So if we do want to go back to that piece, the page where 0 hour is. So that's what's around her neck and on her arms, right? So kind of ward off bad luck. And then now we can read the chair itself. Was that mortar that she was talking about, right? So do you think? How do you read that face then, in light of the fact that this is seen as literally kind of?
I still think she looks at peace. It's
It's great. They said like she's in pain. I look at the piece and I don't see pain.
No, it's like she's
Yeah, I don't
happy
see
to be a
pain.
mother, even if there's the chance of her dying. Especially in this culture, it's good to be a mother. That's.
Well, yeah, I mean, it said if you don't have children, you're pitied, right?
Mhm.
So I think this is kind of interesting. I mean, again, have a little comparison with Duckworth, right? Where for her, it was a drag. In her society, you can't be an artist and be a mother, right? It shows that that's a societal constraint. It's not that there's anything inherent about that. Whereas she managed to, because I don't know how many kids does she have? I think she had 8. Yeah. So, yeah, I think it's a good point. This is sort of, in a way, I think we can see Olowu's work as sort of celebrating motherhood, and I think at first it's a little bit more.
A little put off.
Yeah, it certainly can be read that way, right? I wanted to show you one other piece. We're not able to talk about this when we get to painting, just because there's not time. Lauren, instead of screen sharing, do you mind just looking it up on your screen, just in case it messes up again? If you look up Paula, Paula Moderson, Modersohn, and it should come up. Paula Moderson Becker.
Yeah.
Okay. And we'll go to images, and we'll look at her. Kind of reminds me of this. Oh, that's so small. Let me see if I can get something better. Let's see.
Search by image and it should bring up other sizes.
Okay. Oh, yes, I don't know which, she did lots of pregnancy ones. Just I'll just put self-portrait. She did tons of self-portraits. Let's see. Yeah, go ahead and put self-portrait.
If you,
Okay. Yeah, yeah, she did a lot of self-portraits. So if you go to self-portrait, it is the
It won't be the
second.
same.
Oh, and I'm doing a search for large. So you go to search tools and go to large. It should be in the second row, fourth over. I was going to put this in the PowerPoint, but I knew you'd be kind of jumping around, so I didn't. But do you see it? It's her self-portrait.
On her 6th
date
wedding
on it.
anniversary.
I'm pretty sure of the one I'm supposed to be looking at, but that's definitely not the one that's fourth over. It's her in like a necklace with like a sheet or a towel wrapped around underneath the pregnant belly.
Sometimes the image searches don't line up
Yeah.
due to screen resolution. And
Self-portrait on her 6th wedding anniversary,
Yeah, so
1906.
does it have a yellow background and she's got a towel?
Yeah, she has the towel wrapped around her waist. She has like an amber necklace on. Her hair is up and the background's yellow.
Exactly.
Okay.
So this is an early 20th century painter, Paula Modersohn-Becker, German. She, I mean, I would say like the last 20, maybe 25, maybe 30 years, she's been kind of rediscovered. These images of women, and this is a self-portrait, as you can see. So, and it's really sad, she actually did die in childbirth. So the spear.
What is that?
I don't know. It just seemed to come and go. How do you think this compares? Why would I say there's kind of a visual connection here?
well, I think her hands are positioned in it. I
Okay.
mean, not the exact same way, but a very similar way, where she has
Okay.
one on top and then one at the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
pressing her belly.
Okay.
And then she also has like the necklace on.
Yeah.
I don't know if it has the same
There's something
significance.
that's probably gonna make this up, so I shouldn't say this.
I know there's another self-portrait while I was searching for her that said it's self-portrait with an amber necklace, and if this one is amber as well, I know amber is like, it's a stone for protection and like purity. It's one of those kind of like cleansing sort of stones, so that may be a similar reason.
Yes. Yeah. That I was just about to say that, but I wasn't 100% sure that was right. It was like 95. So now you backed me up. So the necklace acting kind of in a similar way here. And I know she looks sad here, but if we
I
do,
think she kind of looks like peace again.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay, good. I'm glad you agree. I'm glad you
agree too.
And, we have to be careful here because, we're in a gender class and it'd be easy to say, oh, well, we're looking at pregnant images of pregnant women, that's all women are good for. That's not what I'm saying at all, right? We do understand that. Yeah, but I mean, this is something that makes us unique. And it's something worth discussing. So, but yeah, I think, I agree. I think she looks at, I mean, even her head is kind of at an angle a little bit. With, like the lobus is sort of, there, if you look at some others, if you just put self-portrait pregnant, you'll see some others. But I think what is very empowering about these images is that when a man, I mean, I'm not kind of trying to male bash here, but if we want to see kind of a difference, if you actually look at Gauguin, just Gauguin, Gauguin, Lauren.
Mm-hmm.
We have images like this, like very highly sexualized images of women. I mean, there's no sexualization with these two images, right? When I say these two, I mean the sculptures by Lowu and
What makes that one sexualized?
Yeah.
oh, you don't think so?
Mhm.
Well, look at some others that are highly sexualized.
Like I can see
Even
how
that,
that
I mean,
would, like I can see how that would be, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll look at some others because trust me, they're there. Let me do 2B. So it's typically, what's so revolutionary about Morris and Becker's work is that we have a nude woman who is not objectified. And it's very hard to find examples of that before now. Yeah? That's one reason why her work is so important. And I mean, essentially, Alo is doing the same, but it's not quite as revolutionary because within her society, it is considered to be, it's an elevated thing, right? Pregnancy, and you're not, you're gonna, or the nude woman, nude body in general, right? So they're not gonna have, in other words, she's not coming from a tradition of objectifying women, yeah?
And she talks about how her main objective as a sculptor was to gain recognition from her peers, not to portray all the trials women have been through.
Mm-hmm.
So it's first to become good as a sculptor in her way, in her respective way she wanted, instead of like trying to highlight like the issues of women and like, although she does that sort of, but not in the same. That's definitely not her main.
Yeah, no, you're right, and to a certain extent, very much like Hepworth, right?
Yeah.
She wants to be approved by her peers. She wants to, yeah. That is a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. But I mean, do you think in these images that we see sort of monumental treatments of the female body here? Again, as opposed to something like this. I wish I could. This one, for crying out loud. Right? She's got we're looking at, there's a go down where she's holding fruit underneath her breasts.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
The other lady is staring down. I mean, I guess that's supposed
There's one that's like in a similar page to Olympia as well, with like the red fan behind her head and the like little white cloth just covering her crotch. Like it's really very subjective.
yeah.
just a place of discovery.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's just, I think, in a way, Morris and Becker's was like, wow, that's amazing. A woman owning her own body and not objectifying and elevating pregnancy. But, obviously, Morris and Becker's working in a different medium, and she's actually working before. I'm not trying to make any kind of real connection between Alowu and Hepworth, except just to point out that, we don't have a tradition of objectification of the female body in her society. She's not inhibited. And women have. So when we see something like a Morris and Becker, it's wow. You see what I'm saying a little bit? Okay, so let's in our last little, are there any other, I mean, there's so many other comparisons we could make. I think that there's some interesting things here, but for the sake of time, I think we'll leave this behind unless anybody wants to say anything.
And one only interesting thing is how Alo seems to have the most, like, in the beginning support, and like she got off the ground with the most help. How it said at the end, the majority, if not all of her work is in her courtyard.
Yeah, yeah,
Which is kind of sad, because it's like even someone who's like, by a king said you can like do this and you can work, like it's still so unrecognized as opposed to, and she worked just as hard as the Hepworth, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfecting her craft.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's interesting no matter what, it's still you go through what you do to support yourself. You can't always get up there.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so because she went to school and did she win? No, am I making that up?
I guess that goes with the idea that we discussed like a while ago in
Maybe
class,
not.
where it's, if your art is sold, is it still art? Like she could see it as, I don't know, put words in her mouth, but like.
Well, they said it was lack of sponsorship.
Was it?
That's what I said last time, like lack of sponsorship.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that.
You need the patron.
Yeah.
And it's hard for women to get patrons, harder than. Yeah. Okay, good. Any other comments, anything? Okay, so who wants to talk about, I saw some of them, but I didn't get to see all of them. And I'm sorry again for posting the wrong date on there. But nevertheless, does anybody want to volunteer? And Abby, can you show us yours? Oh, it's gonna be difficult, isn't it, with this?
Yeah, because mine's upstairs, but the volume like won't go over ours because we use Keynote.
I think I have to do this.
I mean, I think I can airdrop my PowerPoint onto
And we'll try screen sharing it again.
It
Onto
won't,
that.
yeah, it won't, she won't be able to see it. Because
I can
you take
email it
over the
to
computer
you, and
instead
then
of.
you can
Okay.
upload it.
Or you can
I mean, as long as I can hear the audio, I can look at the slides on my computer.
Well, one of the students had trouble uploading it, so I said she could just show it in class.
Okay, yeah. That works.
Okay.
We'll make it work.
Oh, that's right.
To email them to you?
Right. Yeah, let's try that. And then hopefully the screen share won't happen again. So Lauren, you seem to, I didn't get to read it, I just glanced at it really quickly before class, but you seem to enjoy your artist.
I really did. I found so much on her too. There were a lot of interviews and a lot of articles written about her because she's really sort of like Canada's darling right now.
Mm. And you had
Sherry Boyle.
right. And Scotia also uploaded actually a video of one particular, pronounce it for me because she did so lovely this morning. No, you can't do it.
Is it Soshiko,
Yeah.
and what's, spell the second one?
Takayasu?
Takayasu, that's how it is. Soshiko Takayasu.
So we'll just kind of go through what we can. We won't have time to go through all of them, but I just wanted you to see that the women are continuing to do interesting, innovative things in ceramics. It's not a dead art form by any means. Have you sent it? Oh.
That's the Blossom Mid 4000.
Okay. All right. Mallory goes first.
No. You're not doing it on the computer.
Oh. All right. Okay, let me go back. Okay. So I'm going to try screen sharing again. Hopefully it won't get messed.
Yeah, you want to do entire screen.
Do?
It just makes things easier.
Well, I mean, creepy and I'll never like for me to have it.
All that like hallway food.
It's not letting me open it.
Try to click. No, keep trying to click OK, because you kind of clicked on it a bunch.
Have you found that already?
On the front page, yeah, but not in individual segments.
I'm gonna try exporting mine as a.
That's sort of
PDF.
Well, let's do this. Let's do this. Why don't you, I'll share it with the class via email, since we can't watch it all together.
I can't open Keynote at all.
I can't either.
Here,
That was the problem
I'm
I had.
sending you,
I'm trying to get it to download on my computer and I can't seem to find any way to work around it.
I just sent you another one with mine as a PDF and like a separate email.
No, it's the same, isn't
But, and if it works, then I can send Abby's like a PDF, but then their voice won't work.
it? But can you just tell us if you have?
Yeah, no, I can't even go through it and say.
There's a little refresher thing at the top that usually works better. Next to more.
Thing.
There's more that
Well,
works too.
Technology is not my friend.
It's in its second.
Yeah, it's probably just taking time. Well, while we worry about that, does anybody, and we can pull them up here on our laptops rather than messing it up with the screen. So does anybody want to talk about, Lauren, do you want to talk about yours maybe a little bit?
Sure.
Okay.
Let me just get it pulled up for myself too.
Okay.
I found Sherry Boyle, she had a very rocky start with her experience in art. She had experienced, even when she was in middle school, she was making very controversial art. Even her teachers thought it was controversial. And other students were bullying her about it. They were even destroying her artwork. And so then when she went to high school, she went to an arts-based high school. So then once she got into high school, she was no longer experiencing that sort of controversial environment. And that helped her a lot moving forward. And then once she was in high school, she'd experimented a lot with sculpture and sculpting things, but didn't do as much sculpting for a long time after she'd left high school. She went through college and she focused more on drawing and painting and projections. And it was when a friend of hers passed away. She was trying to do a portrait sort of as an elegy so she could remember her friend by that, and she couldn't communicate it in 2 dimensions, and she just pulled out a bunch of Sculpey that she had and started trying to sculpt something, and it was just a revelation to her working with the medium again, and it just really sparked a lot of things in her, and she became interested in more 3-dimensional forms. She started doing little Sculpey models of like autobiographical things, like, oh, this is what happened in my life today, and she made a little Sculpey model of it just to keep that. And so she has this whole collection of these little Sculpey autobiographical things that she has. And then she was on her way to an artist's residency in Yukon when she met with sculptor Charles Kraft, and she was talking to him about how she was interested in starting to do porcelain work and something like this, but she didn't have the training, she didn't know where to get the training. And so he sent her to a woman named Vivian Hausla, and she did porcelain dolls, like lace draping and porcelain dolls with a bunch of old ladies. And so it was, Sherry Boyle and all of these old grandmas making these cute little dolls, and they're her dolls, but put on backwards, heads put on backwards, arms sticking out of places where they shouldn't be coming from. And Ursula was just completely just like, oh my God, what are you doing? She just had no idea what to do with this. But everybody in the art world really embraced it. They thought it was fantastic. Mm-hmm. And so she ended up, through these dolls, getting her first major show. That was at the Toronto Power Plant. And then I included some of the images of the dolls because I think they're fantastic. They're just really funny too. Like they have ones that are like spiders with people's heads on them. They have a few of them that have like 6 to 8 arms on them, like doing all sorts of things and holding webs up in between the fingers, like they're like spiders spinning a web. And then she did a lot of work with projections as well. And then she started working with both sculpture and projections and live performance all at the same time. And that's what led to her being chosen for the Venice Biennial to represent Canada. Mm-hmm. And for the Venice Biennial, I actually included a video that does a tour of her piece because I thought the piece was so cool once I watched the video of it. But she has sculptures that are hit with lights so that you're not just looking at the sculpture as it rotates on a turntable, but you're looking at the shadows that it's creating. And it just creates a different view of the sculpture. So you can look at it in so many different ways. And the biggest piece that she has there is this mermaid sort of a person, this woman like laying on the ground with a nursing baby. And she has 3 different projections that go with that piece. It's an all-white sculpture in an all-white setting. And then there's 3 different overhead projectors which change how it looks, that she's carefully like constructed so that it's just like something projects only on the mermaid part of this. Like it was very carefully crafted. And it was just so cool.
That is cool. And I like with her sculpture the way that she's kind of taking what is dainty, right? And feminine and all the kind of things that we've talked about here, associated with ceramics, especially, during the 19th, and turning it around, right? And making it kind of.
Yeah, and she was even saying, I read an interview about the entire process that she spent like learning all of this. And she said in the interview that she didn't know any of these conventions about porcelain and decoration and all of these things until she was learning about it from Hausla. So as soon as she was learning about it, she's like, oh my gosh, I want to turn all of this on its head.
Yeah.
She went in knowing sort of what she wanted to do with it, but didn't realize that she was really messing with tradition as much as she was planning on. And she got really excited about it when she realized how much.
First, what she was doing in terms of, like I said, messing with tradition. At first, you said she didn't know that.
she didn't know about a lot of the conventions about like decoration and some of the associations with porcelain. She'd just seen, you know, all these dainty porcelain dolls and sort of thought like, oh, I want to do something like that, but I want it to look like this instead.
Yeah.
So she went in with sort of an idea of what she wanted to do, but didn't realize how much she was going to be messing with the tradition.
Right, right.
Excited about it once she realized how much she was going to be messing with.
Yeah, no, it's very cool. Any comments on this? So Venice Biennale is a pretty big deal. If you make it to the Venice Biennale, you've made it. So here we have an artist who's gone very far as a ceramic artist. And like you're talking about like combining with the projections, you know, this with the video ceramics. I mean, you know, this isn't, you know, old fashioned.
Yeah, I liked the combination of mediums. My artist kind of did that.
Uh-huh.
Her medium was entirely ceramics, but all of her ceramics looked like textiles, and specifically leather goods.
You have, I'm trying to remember.
Marilyn
I think I watched. Yes, I think I saw yours, yes.
Yeah, but I just thought that was really cool that she like took the most traditionally feminine,
Yeah. No, I see, there it is.
the most traditionally feminine medium of textiles, and she reproduced it with another feminine medium
Right.
of ceramics.
Yeah, let's go and look at that. So if you'll open that up. Yeah, that's right, the jackets.
And they're really, they're ridiculously realistic. too.
Yeah.
I thought I thought they actually were textiles. I was like, these are just, I mean, they're beautiful, but they're just textiles, but.
And the shoes.
Yeah, the shoes were ridiculous.
I like the steel toe boots.
And it's interesting because she's taking masculine.
Yeah, there, a lot
Well, I
of
know it's Anne's jacket, but Anne's jacket is
a lot of them
taking-
were very masculine looking.
Yeah.
Like there were some in the bags, there were some that looked more like purses as opposed to briefcases too, but for the most part, all of it was very masculine or androgynous.
Right, right. And now, like, does your artist know what she's doing in terms of messing with convention like this? You know, we were talking about how with Lauren's it was just accidental and then she realized what she was doing. Is
I
that
definitely think she
yours?
knew what she was doing.
Yeah, I kind of sense it.
Especially because she has either one PhD and one master's or two master's
Okay.
degrees. One of them is in art, the other one's in chemistry, which is another very male-dominated field. So I think she definitely knew what she was doing.
Yeah, but so specifically in terms of taking two very gendered
Yeah.
forms, okay, yeah, and making them, yeah, masculine or as you said, androgynous, yeah. Okay, very good. And I think she had, if I remember correctly, like I said, I just did some really brief.
I like the cups.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what inspired the cups.
I wonder if she knew anything about, I can't picture times off the top of my head, but the Harry cup. The fact that it was just supposed to be a cup and it took away its purpose. What was that idea?
Oftentimes, yeah.
I wonder if it's the idea that, you know, it has one purpose, but it, you know.
Well, you can't actually use cups made out of leather.
Yeah, but would you use a cup that looks like someone just cut off the toe of a shoe and just?
Yeah.
I
yeah.
wouldn't, but you could.
It does have that kind of surreal kind of thing to it. It's like taking.
I like that the lacing in it is probably an actual lacing. I think that's what I like most about the shoe cup.
I don't think the lacing is actual lacing. I think that it's just
Really?
that detailed.
That's fantastic.
It didn't say one way or the other, but I'm pretty sure that it's not real lacing. I was looking on her
Wow.
her actual website. Where they have a
Wow.
whole bunch of these pictures, and they actually have a project going on right now where they're trying to find all of they call them missing pieces, but technically it's just pieces that got sold and now they don't know where they are.
Uh-huh.
Because now that she's dead, they want to have like a lot of her works in the same place so they can open up exhibits.
Hmm.
And so they have this project where people are hunting down the
Oh,
missing pieces.
interesting. And it's so recognizable, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, again, kind of surreal, right? You kind of feel something to look at. I mean, especially the cups. So I think it's the kind of thing that it'd be fairly easy to identify.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. Go ahead, Lauren.
Something else that I actually found interesting is that almost all of these PowerPoints that I read, like a lot of these women we were looking at are from Canada.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's just kind of
According to this.
Mine was Mexico.
I've tried so hard to get like a global thing on it, you know, because we have Japanese, we have Mexican, we have a Dunda, who I'd like to actually talk about for a minute. Yeah, but I did actually find this one, it was an exhibition of women ceramic artists in Canada. And I was trying to not use all of them because I didn't want it to be too heavily biased in the Canadian, but they were so cool. Like this one, there were so many interesting ones. I was like, okay, I have to throw her. So yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Mine was technically American. She was born in Hawaii. Her parents were just
Oh, okay.
immigrants.
Mine was born in
Okay.
Israel. She moved over here.
And you had again, remind me.
Marina, something I can't say.
Oh, okay.
Mine was Santa Clara.
Yeah.
Mine immigrated to America.
Yes, okay. Well, I'm trying to get global, guys.
She was born
It's
in
not
Germany
easy.
and then moved here.
Well, and you know, really that's kind of,
I would like to say, you know that feeling that you have when you can find global, that was me in contemporary art.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say
Like, what beef? It's all of them.
that. But it forced you to look, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how many
Like,
times I had to look at before I
More
found.
than half of that was research.
Yeah.
Like, I
And
just-
that's the whole idea, is to get you online looking at art. That's the ultimate
Gosh.
goal of that.
A lot of time. Not that I stayed up, it just took a lot of weeks of time. I was like, well, I didn't get that much farther today.
So I know Morgan is not here, but I would like to look at Adundos. So it's Magdalene Adundos. She again is well known in the contemporary art world. Kenyan, I think, but then has made a career in the UK. And I think Morgan asked the question about, you know, because basically she uses ceramics as, well, the question Morgan poses, do you see gender portrayed in her work? If so, how? I mean, do you see the female form in her work? I mean, look, especially if you look at the one on, well, any of them. I'm going to look at this really quickly. Okay. All right. So let's look at 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. The sixth slide, the one on the left. Do you see the female form there?
I feel like,
Similar to that ish, just around the.
I mean, some of them kind of have the hourglass sort of figure to them, which is considered a feminine shape. But that's the only way I can really like, see it a lot.
Well, if you were stretching it, I could turn it a little and you could kind of see.
I feel like the one on the left, you can really see it because it has like the headdress. There's even a belly button.
Yeah. And I think something else that's worth noting is, and this is maybe a little bit more subtle to you, is another reference to the form are these. Why are these included? Do you know what it is? Just African. We went to a lot of African.
Oh, are those
traditionally-
the little body like things they have on them?
They're scars.
Yeah,
So
scarification.
the scarification, yeah. So, and there's a beautiful, which gets into what, there's a beautiful video where she's talking about scarification. She remembers seeing her mother. So scarification, what is that? Just to make sure we all understand.
Cut the skin, like tattooably,
Exactly.
like so when it comes to the scar forms, it's
Yeah, and there's, I think it's
really pretty.
a citrus, I think is what it's called, when it blisters up.
But it's supposed to blister white, not red. Red's too far.
Yeah,
Too wrong.
yeah.
Like when it blisters like just the white part, it's like right.
And exactly, the way of doing it, it's an art form, right? And you know, there's good and bad. But it's considered a form of beauty in many African societies. And she talks about her mother bathing down by the river and as a little girl looking at her stars and thinking how beautiful she was. That's really lovely. And so this is a reference to the scarification. So not just sort of the rounded form, but the scars as well. So all of these women that we've talked about, nobody get a chance to talk about all of them. I won't say all of them, but the ones that we've talked about this evening are bringing gender back into it, right? I'm sorry we didn't get to yours. Is there any way that you could send us the, I'm just trying to think. Did you have the notes like in the,
I mean, I have them on my computer, but I can attach them like in an email.
yeah, and then I'll try to play around with it
Okay.
and see if I can, because I can't convert it then. Did you send it to?
I sent you mine as a PDF to see if it could open on yours, and then if it was, I was gonna send you audio.
Okay. Well, I'll go home and I'll play with it and I'll let you know.
So let me just, but you see can open, and then I can send you Abigail's.
Okay.
That's good, you opened it on yours, I saw that.
Okay.
The PDF version? No, she
Well,
opened it.
let's go ahead and, we'll go ahead and close up, so when we go, and then if you just stay a second, and we'll look at that. But yeah, I'll try to make Abby's and Sarah's available. If you haven't, I know, again, I kind of messed up, so that some of them were posted late, but if you could, make sure you look at those and post, yeah? So if you haven't posted already, can I ask you to maybe post by the end of the weekend on those? Yeah, because I think it's quite interesting. Then by tomorrow, I'll have the assignments posted for next week. I think that's it. Oh, yes, and now that we're going into next week, remember I said next week we'd start the appointments for the exhibition projects. So I'll also upload a Google Doc and you can go on and sign. Okay, and as I said, if none of those times work for you, send me an email and we'll figure out something. Okay?
You can set up appointments on your Google Calendar.
Yes, that's true. I'll do that way. Okay? All right, any comments or anything? Okay, all right, well, thank you, Lauren. Have a good week.
You too.
Okay, bye. Hang on one second, just go out of this.
Karen, wanna go that way? Karen,